Hey, I was basically ready to go live, and it takes people roughly 20 minutes to get in anyway. So I figured I might as well start off. There are a bajillion barking dogs right now because everyone is taking their dogs for a walk past each other's dogs, I guess. Steve, so many great ones already. I grabbed some YouTube videos to react to. Seriously? All of the barking. All of the barking. Just want to make sure. Okay. I was just checking that the ones I've grabbed aren't like from. So there's some that I grabbed from groups where I will just switch it up. But let's start off. Let me put these on. And I'm going to play the intro thing once we start the podcast part of it. So this is ADHD TikTok's compilation. Hold on. Why aren't we playing through headphones? Please play through my headphones. What the heck? Okay. Please hold. Just do this in the meantime.
Rainy days don't seem so wet. Stormy nights don't stay. From the moment that we met, you were worth the wait.
Might as well hear the song out.
This could be.
Why is it doing that? I'm not going to hear the song out. Okay, so this is just because I'm early, we can watch some of these. Let me make sure my playback speed. Yeah, thought so.
It's entirely possible.
Oh, it feels so good to relax.
That is so true, though, because the first time I took meds, that's better. The first time I took meds, like Vaughan was talking to me and I just didn't hear him. I was like completely in my own little zone. It was so weird, and I haven't really had that again, really.
The tags on shirts.
So both of us, Vaughan and I, have ADHD, and I feel like our entire lives are like varying versions of that. Like we get zoomies at different times. So if I get home from something exhausting, there's two modes. Either I'm going to be 1000% full on, like zooming around. I'm going to have full zoomies, basically. Or the other option, which is basically that I don't want to do anything, see anything, speak to anyone. I don't want a single noise. I don't want any lights. Like, I'm going to go lie in the room with the blackout curtains. I'm trying to move my mic a bit closer. I'm going to be in the room with blackout curtains, and I'm going to just want the world to go away. There's no in between, though.
You mean sandpaper? Okay, how about little spoons? Beautiful.
Always.
But we don't like big spoons.
Nope.
We hate them. Cotton balls? My skin is on fire thinking about that.
I don't mind
Hey,
them.
your fidgeting is distracting me. I can't help it. I have ADHD. Why don't you just
If you are watching this on rewatch, you would have just seen this happening in the beginning of this video. Like, honestly, I have already put my notebook away, closed my pen, I moved my chair, I moved my mic, I've had a sip of something to drink, and we've been on for 6 minutes. Like, I've not sat still for any minute of those 6 minutes.
just stop being distracted? I can't help it. I have ADHD.
It says, if you're listening and you're not reading, I hope this doesn't get stuck. You had a month. I'm actually just going to mute for this part. You had a month to do this project and it's due tomorrow. If you haven't started it yet, don't expect an A. The ADHD kids. Looking around. Oh. Okay, so obviously that panic kicked in and she got it done. I actually had a conversation a few years back with my therapist that was like, so the thing is that if I leave it till the last minute, I can get a good 8 hours done in 2. Should I be worried about that? And she was like, well, technically, as long as you get it done, it's not that bad. But it's not ideal for long term. Like, you don't want to be doing that to yourself forever. And I was kind of like, I don't know if I agree with you on that. I'm not sure I do. It's a TBC because I can focus for 2 hours. This one has audio that I've muted. Says ADHD things I do that my husband loves. For an ADHD video, it's taking too long to get into the intro. Buying things to stay organized and not using them. Ever-changing hyperfixations and hobbies. Oh my gosh. So I was busy working on the intro for this podcast and Vaughn came in to say goodbye and he's like, hey, whatever happened to the book you were writing? And I was just like, shut up, get out. I don't care. That was so 2 years ago. At this point, I am painting and I'm playing piano and I'm doing a lot of YouTube. Those are my current hyperfixations and they cycle a lot. Putting my things away later. Losing things all the time and asking where you put them. Drinking coffee late and then being surprised that I can't go to sleep. So for me, it's not coffee as much as it is like we get these kind of vitamin things that have caffeine in. And I tend to take them at my dip in the day, which also happens to be like sometimes after 4. And then I also have chronic insomnia. And the combination is horrible, but I do it anyway. Rapidly changing moods and emotional dysregulation. And if you're a woman and you have ADHD, you probably also want to look into PMDD because I can't even remember what the real name is. I call it the Lucifer phase. In the Lucifer phase of the month, which is like the week before, it's going to be even worse. ADHD things I do that my family loves. Stopping midway through a sentence because I'm distracted by a thought. Done that a million times. Making and losing all the lists of lists. I have multiple of these, all with pens, and they never come together. And I know it's in a list. It's just which list that I probably will not be able to find. Starting projects I'm excited about, giving up after a month. That's kind of the same as hyperfixations for me. Impulsive purchases that we definitely don't need. Yeah. Excited rabbit hole conversations that make sense to no one but me. Well, here's where you're wrong. You just need to find other ADHD people because then they will always be excited.
Not silly if it makes your life easier. ADHD edition. I know what you're thinking. Kate, I always forget to take my meds. What should I do? Here's a suggestion. Get one of these. You put
that's
your
cool.
meds in the
You put your meds in the thing and then it tells you when it's medication time. Ooh, and then it goes in the cup. It dispenses your meds. Wait a minute. That is so cool. I want to be very clear. It's not sponsored. I paid my own hardworking American OF dollars. But I thought you might like to know. Yeah, Steve, I was ready early, so I decided to just go live early. Because otherwise I was going to get distracted and be late. So that's why you're not late. I was early and I knew that I had to just make the most of it. Also, people generally come in about 20 minutes into the live. So I thought I could counter that if I was 20 minutes early. Was way too focused on art class. Oh my gosh. Relatable. There was a picture that I've got hiccups now. There was a picture that I tried to do before my mom went overseas. And painting was just not the hyper focus of that point in my life. And I messed it up and I was like, I'm leaving this alone. I hate it. It's the worst. And then I semi ran out of paper. Like I didn't actually run out of paper. It's just the paper that I have I don't like. So I went back to it and now it's looking really cool. Like I'm doing pretty well, if I can say that. I like it. The only thing about doing like a reaction to TikToks is that the sound, put a thing so you can click and find it in the description. Okay, well, that doesn't help in a compilation. The only thing about doing TikTok reactions is that the copyright chances are way high. Dispense me, daddy. What my ADHD is like. Okay, we need to tell everyone on TikTok that's doing ADHD TikToks, we cannot do like a 10-second intro. That is not going to work. Having lots of things on my mind at once. This feels like it's going to be grim. Getting angry easily. Struggling to sit still. Finding schoolwork hard. Mood swings. Being distracted. Always being hyper. Well, depends on which you have. I'm more like inattentive. I'm more of a combo between inattentive and hyper. So depends on the day of the week and where I'm at mood-wise. And as for sitting still, if it distracts you that I move around, I'm sorry, this is not the place for you. I have had the inability to sit still my entire life and just no chairs are comfortable. Okay, let's see if there's a little bit of, if we can play the sound here.
You do because of your ADHD.
Nah.
You've been
Unique things people do with ADHD. Therapist explains. You've been listening to the same song on loop and still haven't got sick of it even when others are clearly annoyed. Oh, tell me that song. If you are on rewatch, I need your song in the comments. If you're live, tell me that song. You know what mine is? AJR. World's Smallest Violin, and Vaughn hates it. He hates it. Because it sounds like a circus and it's really like, I wish I could play it. I wish I could just get it on the, like if I could just pay for it and play it. It's literally all the time. Is that about switching whatever hyperfocus is? Okay, Vaughn just got home, so there might be a little bit of noise. You tend to eat the same foods every day and find it difficult to eat healthy or not overeat. I'm going to strong disagree with that one. Incredibly strong disagree. However, why didn't I make myself a bit bigger in the screen, actually? No, that's not right. I have sensory issues, so let me actually just customize this. There we go. No. Yeah, that's better. I have sensory issues, so if something is a sensory problem, there's a good chance that I will be happy to eat it. Spag bowl. Always. Anytime. Right now, I'm listening to the album Animals by Pink Floyd all the time. Huh. That can't say that's one I've had on my rotation. What is another one? Oh, do you know what's a good one for getting into focus mode? I'm going to quickly, speaking of focus, since it's so strong right now, I'm going to quickly find it on YouTube Music and drop it in the chat. Um, 1 hour. There we go. Let me share. Don't play. Just let me share. And if you haven't, you need to find 8D music. It tickles. You have to listen to it with headphones on, but it like brain tickles. Also, I think overeating, not so much. I don't know if this therapist actually has ADHD themselves, but like almost all of the meds that I take and that I've been on make me not hungry. Like food feels icky at the time. Even if I'm like, my body's very hungry, I just have no appetite. Okay. You drink a lot of coffee, even if it doesn't help. It seems to serve as more of a symbol for starting your day. Well, do you know what? I just don't think I agree with this particular therapist. Because it's a stimulant. Like ADHD and stimulants. It's not a symbol. Otherwise, decaf would be fine. I wish that was a problem for me. Well, Steve, like I had to, because I'm naturally skinny, slim, whatever you want to call it. I'll talk about it more when I finally film my diagnosis story, which has just not happened because ADHD. But I had to promise, like part of going on meds was to promise that I would eat before I took them. So I have to do that. I strongly disagree with this coffee thing. You have a million dream projects but fail to complete any at all. Well, we've already spoken about that, so let's just not bring that up again. That Coke's finished. You interrupt a lot. Wait. You interrupt a lot but feel bad when you're confronted about it. No, I feel bad at the minute I do it. As soon as I do it, I feel bad. I don't like doing it. But like when I was a kid, I used to tell my mom and my teachers, because I was always getting moved for talking, I used to tell them that I was just bursting. Like I couldn't hold the words and they were bursting out of me. And jokes on everyone because I made talking my job. Impulse issues and being able to control them, like eating one donut and stopping, but then getting another donut and stopping there, but knowing there's another donut there and trying not to eat it. You know what, Steve? I can't relate on food, but this is why I don't drink anymore. And my drinking was what got me the diagnosis from the psychiatrist. She was like, oh, funny, impulse issues. Huh. Inability to regulate your emotions. Has anyone ever said that perhaps you have ADHD? And I was like, oh, wait, is that a thing? But it hadn't been brought up to me And it was big. It was a combination of impulse and emotional dysregulation, because you know what helps not have to emotion? Things like that. You fail to complete tasks because one task branches out to a million others. I explained this to my mom today, and I could almost see like the cogwheels turning. A good example is like if you say to someone neurotypical, like, you should jump in the shower, they're like, okay, I'm going to go and get in the shower. Those are the steps. They're going to go get in the shower. In my head, I'm going, I have to get up and go to the bedroom, get undressed, turn the shower on, get in, whatever else, get out, dry my hair, style my hair, choose clothes. And everything's in like 5,000 steps. And then obviously it's overwhelming because I'm seeing 5,000 steps, you're seeing 2. No matter what drink I have in my hand, I have to drink it like now. Then, of course, I need another drink because everyone else has a drink. Then I have a drink in my hand and I have to drink it. When I first went into sobriety, I actually used to have alcohol-free drinks for that reason, so that I could like have something, and then also people didn't ask because they couldn't tell. But I mean, there was a comment on one of my videos about drinking obscene amounts of Coke Zero, and I didn't reply in a nasty way, but like, quite frankly, it's liquid. Okay? Like, until water is fizzy, it tastes nice. It's not happening. I don't like it. Tastes like nothing. Don't like it. It's such a chore. Can I do it later? Everything. Everything. Even going to sleep for me is like 20 steps. Like, I don't just go to sleep. There's so many things in between. If you have something to do, you have to do it that very second, or else it causes anxiety. Okay, but then also the flip side is I have to do it that very second. However, I also am going to procrastinate because I think I'm going to mess up on that thing, and I don't want to do it that very second because I need to do so much more before I can do that. Like, there's a saying that is so true that says there's never a house as clean as a writer with a deadline. Oh man, I can procrastinate like I can procrastinate until it's like 23:59 and the deadline is 0:00. I will still turn it in on time because the panic monster will take over and I'll do really well. But if I know that there's something that has to be done, I'm more likely to procrastinate. But that is also just inattentive. I drink non-alcoholic beer all the time. I'm one of the weirdos that actually likes the taste of beer. Yes. Yes. It is one of the only things that I miss. I thought I missed wine. And then, so I went through phases because I live obviously in the winelands. People drink wine a lot. And I thought I missed it when I was drinking, like I thought I missed it. And then I'd have a glass and I'd be like, I really don't like the taste. And then when I stopped, then I'd be like, oh, maybe I miss it. But I'd have alcohol free and be like, I actually just don't like the taste. Like, I was never drinking it for the taste. There is not a single thing except beer that I like the taste of. The problem with the alcohol free beers is that they're so like heavy, and I get a bit of a headache from the sulfites. But that, I mean, it's better than anything. Also, I really want an alcohol free version of Jägermeister. Yeah, Steve, we get almost every variety of alcohol-free versions. The funny thing is, like, at this stage, how many years is it? 2019, we're in 2024, December 2019, December 2020, December 2021, December 2022, December 2023. I'm 4.5 years sober, and I don't tend to like need the alcohol-free version anymore unless I'm like in a pub and I want like a vibe, which I hardly ever am. I'll generally drink these at gatherings. Like it does the job. And I also like it's cool to be at the stage where I have to count how long I've been sober, because there was a stage, I mean, where I'm not constantly counting. Like I have to pause and go, how long has it been? Because there was a stage when it was like day 1, day 2. Okay, we made it to the weekend, just got to get to the next weekend. And I wasn't like a daily person. I was a binge drinker. So it was really only weekends. If you don't have a to-do list, you feel like you have no sense of direction. Yes, but I need a list to create the to-do list. You're always constantly asking people to repeat themselves. This doesn't happen to me, thankfully. I did also work in radio, so I had to be paying attention constantly so that when I responded, it would be a meaningful response. You're very attentive when you're interested in someone or something, even to the point of hyperfocus. Something, yes. Someone, I don't think so. I don't know. Does Vaughn count? We've been hyper-focusing on each other for nearly 10 years. I keep to the alcohol-free because I determined long ago that I don't want anything that will take me out of control. So I hear you. And this is why I wasn't a fan of the devil's lettuce. But for me, part of my brain rationale was that I was in control. I was controlling my feelings. I don't know. My brain rationale was a little wonky. I thought these were more going to be funny. When your partner has ADHD.
Come on, baby, are you on? I want to look into your eyes.
Oh, I didn't want to be reminded of that song. Oh, I want Vaughn to see that video, but I don't know if he's going to be able to come watch right now. Oh my gosh, I love that song. Now I'm going to listen to it a million times. And I'm always weird like this. Like,
Eyes. Good. Yeah. Yep. I'll see you later. All right. Take care. Ah!
wow, looks like someone has a lot of pent up energy. Yeah, I got energy, but it's been inside my body too long and now it's spoiled like milk and I'm exhausted. I'd be perfectly happy not to see another human for the next 3 to 5 business days. Oh, this is one of the reasons why, like, my job works so well for me. Like, we generally aren't a very meeting-heavy company. And I've been able to say straight up, like, if we have meetings, it's going to break my focus and I'm going to, like, need time after the meeting to decompress because, like, I don't know if this happens to other people as well, but when I reach the point of too much people, it's now. I want to leave now. When I'm done, that's it. I can't wait another 10 minutes. I'm done now. And if I don't leave now, I'm going to be trying not to melt down and I'm going to be trying to, like, probably overcompensate for the fact that I'm about to get really bitchy. Trying to keep the cork on when I'm at a client's office is very taxing. Oh, you know what the problem is? Like, I just don't think I could do that. I'm not very good at it. Like, it would be the same as with like, if I need to leave now, if I'm at a job and I'm not happy and I don't feel like I can be myself, I will make the decision that day I'm done. I'm done. And then from there, there's like no convincing. Oh, so are you just going to go to bed? Nope, there's no way that my brain would shut down right now. So if you need me, I'm going to go play video games for the next 5 hours. Yup, Tetris for me. Tetris is good for the brain though, so there's that. And I had to get out of Candy Crush. That was too much. Zoomies, crash. Zoomies, crash. So the comment says, can we talk about the guilt that comes with trying to accomplish something and ADHD getting in the way? Oh, it feels like this is going to be such a sad emotional one. I'm just not in the mood. One of the most annoying parts about ADHD is that we know what we're supposed to do. Yes. We know what we're supposed to do. We know the timeline is supposed to be executed. Yes. But there are things that get in the way that make our... Oh, no, I just don't... Don't be serious. I'm just here to watch funny memes. They're called memes if they're videos. The shocking reality about having ADHD. Oh, here we go. This sounds like it's going to be... It's Sunday morning. Sweet. Time to sleep in. Might browse my socials a little bit before I get out of bed. Oh, ish. It's been 3 hours. Get stuff done. Roll out of bed. Desperately try to think of what you need to get done. There's a million and one things rushing through your head. You then enter ADHD paralysis. You're frozen and still in time, freaked out, blah, blah, blah. Keep your life from falling to pieces. Yes, life sucks. We know. Simple Plan already wrote about that years ago. Chasing dopamine.
That I see all the time. What about because you also have anxiety? So I think of little Sally, who has more of the...
Ugh.
This means that she's likely to be forgetful, have trouble...
Why is everyone so serious? I think we just need to all agree on TikTok that ADHD is mostly just for jokes. I don't mean that like the diagnosis is for jokes. I just mean that like I'm not here to commiserate. I'm quite happy with it. Wouldn't change. It's my little superpower. I'm sure it's hard and rough and whatever, but like we can joke about that. Oh,
It's constantly. So there's a lot of getting up and down, a lot of pacing, a lot of pacing. Phone, keys, wallet every day. That's at least 2,000 steps.
Yeah, we'll get back to that. Tell me about your diet.
Light breakfast, then just, forget that you're human until you're like starving, and then and then eat about 2, 3, 4 portions, dinner size. Ooh, at midnight snack. There's always like a day of the week that I like engorge myself all day for like 1 day a week, so it's fine.
We'll just jump right back. How's your sleep cycle?
It's good after my weekly reset or whatever.
Your what? To correct my wonky sleep schedule. It's like when you, after the end of a day, you decide to stay up all night and that whole day. So that way you'll be exhausted that night. So that way you can wake up early the next day. And then from that point on, try to wake up and go to bed on time.
That's what I did when I was, remember when it was like, when I was in Edinburgh and then I didn't sleep and I was like loopy on the train and I was like, I'm so tired, but like, I just can't sleep now because I need to reset everything. We'll just get back to zero. Like, I can't be sleeping in the day. Just need to figure it out for now. And then it's like, yeah, I'm just resetting my sleep cycle. Body's like, what? And then you catch the second wind of tired and it's zoomies. If it's not something I'm really excited about doing, the list gets excuses and procrastinated for like 8 weeks. Steve, there was a script I wrote and I started it in January, the day I came back from leave. I started it, I want to say the 8th of Jan. It was a big one. There was a lot of research. Granted, it was about 4,000 words, right? So it's a decent amount. I handed it over last week because every time I started focusing on it, I would find a new rabbit hole and I had to research that thing. I mean, it was like, you have to, like, it's got to be well-rounded, It's a good rabbit hole. And I need to understand it in order to put it out there.
I didn't realize this game came out today. I'm buying it. I really want to go shopping. $20 limit. $20.
Yep.
Wouldn't it be funny if I got a frog with a mushroom hat tattoo?
Thankfully, I don't do tattoos impulsively. But I can relate to the shopping, and my only life hack for that has been that I go to a charity shop, and so like a thrift store, and I can go wild there and it'll be like $20. It's perfect. And it's all like stuff that would land up in I don't know, a landfill or something. And it's like treasures. It's like the song that almost perfectly define. There's two Disney songs that almost perfectly happy birthday to me, that almost perfectly define me. That is Part of Their World, Little Mermaid. Look at this stuff, isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete? When is it ever time to call it with ADHD? And the second one is Belle. And the song is Belle, Beauty and the Beast. And that is that she's a bit weird and her head's stuck in a book. And she doesn't really pay attention to the outside world. Those two is like completely me, completely. And then there's also Moana, How Far I'll Go. That's also a good like ADHD anthem.
Sorry, I got distracted. I'm so ADHD.
Maybe there's something wrong with me that I don't get stuck on it. Scrolling paralysis. That's why I deleted social media in the first place. Yes, the floor. Love the floor. Well, we know this is true because I just sent one that's an hour-long version.
Okay, time's up, everyone. Handing your tests. Thank you. Olivia, I said time's up. Come on. Oh, sorry, Miss Smith. I actually have accommodations since I have ADHD, which gives me extra time on timed assessments. You have the highest mark in this class. There is absolutely no need for that. Having ADHD doesn't mean I'm dumb. It just means my brain processes information differently than others.
Again?
So sometimes I need
Also,
extra time to decode.
My problem was I worked way too fast and then I was bored. And then when I was bored, I would get up to nonsense and recruit friends to be part of that nonsense.
Yeah, take your time.
ADHD people, I think the saddest thing in an ADHD person's life is that there can literally be a glass of water right in front of you, and no matter how dehydrated you are, you still won't drink
Okay, wait.
it.
Maybe I'm on the same page. Yeah. I can agree with that one. It doesn't matter what, I can be in a desert. I can literally be in a desert. And I still won't drink water. Coke Zero all the way. And specifically this one is no caffeine, because then I don't get the overstimulated. Funny story, when I first went on Ritalin, I didn't the psychiatrist was like, maybe lay off the coffee a little bit, figure out where your levels are. But I did not, because I don't know the difference between 0 and 100. And I landed up being so overstimulated that my pupils dilated to the point where my vision was blurry. And then thanks to OCD, my brain telling me that my almost hypochondria part of it was like, you're going blind, this is it. You're losing your sight at a young age. I went to the optometrist and it turned out that I just had so much caffeine and stimulants that my pupils were like, poof. Hey, Sim. Okay, I think I'm going to remove that one. And I'm going to do this. Let's go. Okay. I hyper-focused on this today, so if you don't like it, I don't want to know.
2, 3, 4. Ever wonder if you're a rascal or if ADHD's to blame? You can't censor yourself like we've censored this song. Your focus in life is a crying shame. Am I a rascal or just ADHD? It's hard to know which one it could be. But don't you worry, 'cause we'll figure it out together on this podcast, no doubt.
So I hope you like that. I did it in Canva. I also dropped the Canva link for thumbnails, which I see squirrel. The fact that I saw that squirrel at the exact moment that my brain said squirrel, like, I can't actually believe that. That is hilarious. Okay, so I need to know, should I put the thing I'm reading on the screen? Or is it going to be distracting that I'm not reading at the same speed that you're reading at, etc.? Because I put it in a document so that it's not, so I'm not like showing anyone's usernames and that sort of, it's all on Reddit, so it's public, but still. If I do ones that aren't from that page, and I'm just going to say rascal instead of the other thing because that's what the intro says. I think it's probably best for me to like do this. That's court layout. This is docs layout. Let's try that. Present, share screen. Let's go to this one. Okay. Back to StreamYard because I need to do this in case we get some trolls along the way. Banners. Okay. I need to even this out a little bit. Let's go like that. How does that look? There's two things I'm going to get once this channel is monetized. Oh, it's because I do keep doing peace sign. How is peace sign birthday? I feel like this is birthday. I'm going to get a second screen. And I'm going to get a StreamYard subscription so that it's a bit easier. There doesn't have to be like that logo and whatnot. Okay. Am I the rascal for telling my husband to stop repeatedly using certain phrases? Throwaway account and changing certain details. Background: husband, male 49, and I, female 47, have been married for 15 plus years and have a young teen son together. No other kids. Husband has been working through family trauma over the years in various forms of therapy, and I recently went through therapy as well, as has our son, for ADHD and oppositional defiant disorder. Part of having a kid with ADHD and ODD is that he has no filter, can relate, and when things bug him and annoy him, he just blurts them out. Husband tends to be very high and mighty about all his years of therapy and has a really hard time being called out on certain things and many times refuses to change his approach, even if it annoys everyone else. He thinks he knows better because of all his years of therapy. It came to a head today during breakfast when our son asked him to please stop telling him to stop being critical. I'm going to pause because what I actually wanted to do was this. And then I just want to make sure okay. In case people want to jump in and chat about it. What I am going to do though is I'm going to make you give a disclaimer of sorts. Shall I ask ChatGPT to write it quick before we carry on? Okay, I don't want to just do the thing. Write a disclaimer for me to get my guests to read on a podcast that they will follow the rules and not swear or be offensive. This disclaimer is hilarious. Let me read it out loud. It says, "Welcome to our podcast. We are thrilled to have you as a guest and look forward to a great conversation. To ensure our show remains enjoyable and respectful for all, we kindly ask you to adhere to the following guidelines. 1. No swearing. Please avoid using any offensive or inappropriate language during the recording. 2. Respectful dialogue. Engage in respectful and considerate conversation, refraining from making any offensive or discriminatory remarks. By participating in this podcast, you agree to follow these guidelines. Thank you for helping us maintain a positive and inclusive environment for our audience." I'm just going to close the door quick. Cookie, I'm closing it so you don't have to worry. Those only work if you use them. That's a great tram announcement voice you're using. So I did a lot of voiceover work on Upwork a few years ago because like radio. Where was I going with this? Oh, and I got so many requests from people in Europe to do their phone recording. Also, if you ever watch Love Island UK, the beginning, she says, "You are watching on demand. Please do not try to vote or enter into any other interactivity as it may not count and you may still be charged." And I have to say that every single time. You still have to remember to go check it. Okay, yeah, good point. I will... Anyone who joins, I'm going to leave it up to you to remind me. Okay. Came to a head today during breakfast when our son asked him to please stop telling him to stop being critical. Husband uses that phrase whenever our son is being mean or gets frustrated at himself for doing something wrong. It's been going on for months now, and it seems like he says it at least 10 times a day. Okay, so our son asked the husband to stop telling the son to stop being critical. Son asked husband not to say to son that he must... Okay, I think I get it. It's been going on for months now, and it seems like he says it at least 10 times a day. It shuts down the conversation as it pisses off our son because he uses it so much and it's lost any meaning at this point. I asked him to please start using some other words as it just seems like the term is overused and our son has been asking him over and over to stop. I'm so confused. Who's saying stop being critical? Son is saying it a lot or husband saying it a lot? I gave him some options so he can be more specific. Stop being mean, stop saying nasty things, stop being a bully. But he shut down the conversation and called me critical. No one can say anything to him because we're being critical and wrong. Okay, so this is husband. Husband is the one. Let me just remove that so you don't see the judgment. From then on, oh, I have so many cats in here. From then on, he refused to talk to me. He said goodbye to our son, but refused to say goodbye to me as I approached him for a kiss goodbye and blamed me for his running late for work. I said, okay, be that way. He called me critical as he left the house. Husband doesn't have ADHD, does he? Might need to do an assessment, though. To add, this isn't the first time he refuses to change a phrase, even for little things. Winchester, what are you doing? I might need to let her out. She's not sure right now. To add, this isn't the first time he refuses to change a phrase, even for little things. For the longest time, our son asked him to please stop saying screen time because it made him feel like a baby, and he refused, making our son get pissed. I asked him what the big deal was with just saying computer time. There are other examples as well, but these two were the biggest. I feel like he's being stubborn and not doing something basic that would ease tensions and ridiculous hills to die on. Our son feels disrespected when he just stubbornly continues. Was it wrong to ask him to please use other words, especially when it affects our son? Well, please keep your items clear of the closing doors. The train will depart momentarily. Son is being critical. Dad tells him to stop. Okay, that's what I understood as well. So Here's when I wish I could do a poll. Can I do a poll? If you were YouTube, where would you put a poll? I know I can do it on my phone. It doesn't look like I can do it until I reach the next milestone on computer. So we need to vote. Is the husband the rascal or is the wife? Do, 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 do. I'm going to go art list and I'm going to find waiting music. Music. Where's the search bar on this thing again? No.
Please hold the line, and we will answer you. Please hold.
No. Elevator music. Maybe. This isn't a rabbit hole squirrel moment at all. I don't think these people are understanding the assignment. Yes. You're the one. That's the one. Okay, so I'm just going to keep you on hold while I add this music. Okay, stop sharing. Presenter view. Okay, so let's go up a bit further. Husband needs to get over his issues and listen to his son and his wife. And the whole acting like a child and not giving her a kiss goodbye. Grow up, buddy. The father's use of the word critical is totally acceptable. The term never changes. It's consistent, and by changing his speech, it would add ambiguity, and that's unnecessary. Ooh, so we have opposing opinions. Here's where I'm at. I think that given the child has ADHD and ODD, oppositional defiance disorder, believing that the child is genetically related to the father and the father gets unreasonably angry or frustrated when someone gives him a what's the word? When someone tells him to do something, gives him like a command, then he gets almost unreasonably upset. Makes me wonder if maybe a daddy-o needs to be tested. Because he certainly does seem somewhat oppositional. Maybe if he asked his son what he would prefer to be informed that he is being overly critical. Yeah, I think both parents are being kind of childish. I don't think the mom should be bringing it up with the dad in front of the kid if it's causing tension between the mom and the dad. Winchester baby, do you want to go out? Hello? Come up here. Come, puppy. Come, puppy. She's not a puppy. In case you're new, she's a cat. However, we don't know why. She only responds to puppy. Come, puppy. No, don't do that. No, your claw. Hey. I'm not murdering her, I promise. She just screams like that. Now she's angry. Let the son choose the wording if it's causing an issue. Yeah, I think that the both adults need to just be grown-ups and they need to have the conversation. And if the dad has had so much therapy, he would surely understand that if it's causing an issue for the child, it's smarter just to do something. Like, they need to have a middle ground. The son having ADHD and ODD does not mean that he can't have any commands. The dad is saying it to the child because the child is being critical. She's so strange. So sounds like taking parenting advice from the child. That's kind of where I'm torn, because on the one hand, it shouldn't be such a big deal for the dad, unless, of course, he also has ADHD and ODD. Maybe it's a case of like they're too similar, but the child has ADHD, right? That is what she said. Yeah, he's got ADHD. He can understand. It's not, I don't think it's that big a deal. Like, they just need to have a conversation. It certainly does not need to land up on Reddit, I'll tell you that much. So what's the vote? Like, if for example, the son was, she's on the back of the chair. If, for example, the son was on the spectrum and kind of higher up, and potentially there could be some speech situations, or then I might understand. But what is the son going to do when he reaches the workplace and somebody repeats something? And if he is being critical, I certainly don't like the mom's example of saying, stop being a bully. That's going to cause more upset. You don't want to be putting in your kid's mind that they're a bully. And if they are a bully, then, you need to figure out the root cause. Something's wrong there. Sim says, never could stand the taste of beer. Sim, I think you're like an hour behind, by the way. I don't know if you're catching up or what. Oh, and Sim wouldn't know because she wouldn't be listening. The annoyance of repetitive speech is closer to Asperger's than ADHD, in my opinion. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, if it was leaning towards meltdown territory, this is a hard one because I haven't had an assessment for autism, but there's so many things that cross over. Like, I have ADHD and I have sensory processing disorder and potentially pathological defiance disorder. So if you tell me to do something, I'm going to say no. And then I'm going to be really annoyed. Similarly, if you tell me I can't do something, I will do it to prove you wrong. But then, like, there's a lot of things that cross over, like words that sound strange and like one line of a song, they'll get stuck in my head. So, prime example, this is gonna, I wish I didn't have to say this because it's gonna go around in my head a million times, but I'm just gonna say it and then it can go around all of our heads. There is a footballer whose surname is Mbappe. My brain, I'm not even joking, for approximately 2 weeks, anytime I tried to think of anything, all I could think of was Mbappe, Mbappe, Mbappe. I don't even watch football. My family watches football. Why was it stuck in my head? Like, words just get stuck. And as far as I know, I'm not on the spectrum, but I don't know. Like, yeah. Oh, wait, I also think, Dominus, are you meaning the dad could potentially have Asperger's? I also think I might be wrong, but I think they updated the wording to just be on the on the autism spectrum. The same as, like, technically they changed it from ADHD and ADD to ADHD C is combined, H is hyper, and I is inattentive. Doesn't change anything for me. Like, I have the diagnosis and doesn't bother me. But I don't want to say the wrong wording and then people are upset with me in the comments or whatever. Okay. Next one. Not parenting advice from the kid, but more of a choosing your battles. Teach him or them to talk it through to find a suitable solution for both of them. Agreed. And I think that my issue is that first and foremost, the parents, I don't need these on and they're squeezing my head. The parents need to be on the same page. It shouldn't be so difficult for two parents to get on the same page. What is the problem? Why is the mom getting so attached to this? Why is the son getting so attached? Why is the dad getting so attached? Mom and dad need to be on the same page, then they need to talk to the son, and the three of them need to figure it out. But you can't have mom and son and dad. You need to, like, parents have to be on the same page, especially if he has ODD. If one parent's giving one lot of commands and the other parent's giving different commands, who's the child supposed to listen to? He's probably not going to listen to either because they're both giving commands. So, like, if there was any time to speak to your child, to speak to your partner before speaking to your child, it would be now. Okay, docs layout, let's do that. Present, share screen. Okay, I can't remember what I did the last time. How did I make it so nice to look at? Print layout, ruler, outline, full screen, zoom in, a little bit to the side. Okay, let's check it. I'm also just checking the thumbnails. Nice. I really like the last one with the donkey and the squirrels. I need to just close this quick. Okay. Am I the rascal for starting a fight with my mom over keeping my ADHD from me? Oh, it's gonna be a good one. Also, some of these are like specifically ADHD, but I did pick some that are more like the person maybe doesn't know, they don't have the diagnosis. So I just wanted to get the ones that I know specifically. I don't have to redact or anything. Recently, my mom, 66, and I, female 23, were talking about my old high school, and my mom was teasing me for doing poorly. Well, that's a strong start. When I tried to explain that I was putting in an effort, she wouldn't let me get a word in edgewise, saying that she knew I was lazy and staying up all night, gaming, and not paying attention to class. Pause for a squirrel moment. I showed my mom that court thing that upset me, and she strongly disagrees. She likes how the judge did it. She thinks that the judge had good points and that she handled it well and that the child needed that. So that was quite surprising. And my mom is like such a wonderful teacher that I would trust her judgment, but she liked the tone. She liked everything about it. I was often up late as I frequently had a lot of homework I struggled to understand, but I never fell asleep in class, and I'd often ask my friends to help with my homework late at night. Your mom should be helping you, not your friends. As we wound down from the spat with her telling me I need to shape up, conversation drifted between topics for a long time. Eventually, we came into a topic of onto a topic of my messy handwriting. I joked that I just think too fast and my hands can't keep up. Relatable. And she laughs and says, "Oh yeah, we had a doctor try to help you with that as a kid." I have no recollection of that. I asked how old I was. I was 9. I asked what they did to help. Apparently, she doesn't remember much, given it was so long ago, but he prescribed me Adderall, and it helped. But I got too focused on non-productive things, in other words, handwriting, and she stopped giving them to me. So many things clicked for me. I've had so much trouble focusing on that kind of setting. I end up trying to focus so hard, I end up focusing on focusing. I know this feeling. Or I'm hearing it, but it feels like white noise. I'm telling you now, if you're in a relationship with someone with ADHD, both of you need to be okay with the phrase, "I'm sorry, I heard you, but I wasn't listening." Game changer. And the other person can't get annoyed. It needs to be like an understanding. Like, I heard you. I mean, I was listening. It might have looked like I was comprehending, but no comprehende. It didn't help that my teacher hated me because I had to ask her to repeat certain easy steps so frequently. I was pissed. We had a fight, which largely consisted of her yelling at me and saying I just had to buck up and use willpower. I told her that it was entirely her fault my grades were so poor throughout junior high and high school. She said it was my own fault for being lazy. I may have called her a bitch. I told her that she was the only lazy one in the room because she didn't actually put any effort into helping me beyond lecturing me about being lazy when she knew that at one point I'd been diagnosed and medicated for attention issues. So, am I the rascal for being upset with my mom over this? My friends think I was harsh with her, and my stepdad is pissed at me. My uncle, who I usually ask for advice, won't respond either. Okay, let's do this. Where are you, my beloved new sound? Okay. So, stop sharing for a moment. There's a lot to unpack here. Where do I start? Okay. So, first of all, completely relate on the handwriting thing. I hold my pen like this. When I was in grade 1 and like we say grade 0, which is the year before grade 1, my teachers and my parents got me a pencil grip, which was like one of those rubber things that like they've gotten so fancy now. Where do I find one just like from the 90s? This one. So I had these, and I also, could you see that picture? Because I don't know if it came up on StreamYard. I made it a toy. I would either throw it around the classroom. I would use it as an eraser. I would chew on it. I basically did whatever I could to not use the thing. and I still don't hold my pen properly to this day. So the messy handwriting thing, like her not holding her pen properly, totally understandable. It's also, as far as I know, quite a clear marker of fine motor skills, which she could have gone to OT for had her mom followed due process. Also, I literally never say process. I've been watching too much court TV, and now I would say process. The other thing is messy handwriting, worrying about it. Absolutely. I used to get the most beautiful notebooks, and then I would be too scared to use them because I didn't want my handwriting to be ugly. So I started buying ugly notebooks so that I can just write and not care about it. And my handwriting some days is beautiful, and my handwriting some days is awful. What was the other thing? Mom should have been monitoring her homework. She should have been trying to work with her to understand where the problem was. Late at night, I think that the mom maybe wasn't doing enough monitoring there overall. I don't like that she said that her mom didn't do a good job. I think, like, I don't think that was the best way to end the conversation. Okay, so just looking at this from the surface, the big player in this is generations. Yes, her mom had her at what some consider an older age. I hear you. I can send you the StreamYard link if you want to jump on. I've got a hair in my mouth. I'm actually just gonna like present this and take myself out of the screen so I can get this silly hair out of my face. This is my favorite. Yeah, it is like, I don't love Mel Gibbons, I don't know, 5-second lady. She talks about oh, Steve, I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Hey.
Sorry, no camera.
Just give me a sec. I forgot I need headphones for this. That's funny. I kind of saw the screen pop up and I was like, something changed there, but I thought it was just my screen sharing situation that I had messed up.
Sorry, no camera. I'm still kind of laying in bed.
No stress.
It's like noon right now.
But it's Sunday.
It is, yeah. Yeah, so going back, so generational thing. Sorry, kind of pulling chat back up here. So just going back for like my childhood, for example, or when I had my kids. So I had my kids when I was 20. So
that's quite young.
When she was 23 in that, so I would have been 43 in that letter, and my mom actually would have been like 64, 65. So I'm Gen X, my mom is a boomer, my kids are millennials. So going from that example, if my mom had kids in my kids' generations, so if a boomer, let's say, had millennial kids,
yeah,
and thought, heard that and had their kids diagnosed going off of their own childhood, no, they're just being a little turd. They need to just focus. I'm not putting them on all this medication, and they're focusing on the wrong things now. So we're going to take them off the medication because that's not the problem.
Yeah.
And they don't have, so it's definitely a generational thing. in my mind with that. Yeah. Definitely the
So
big.
one of the things that stands out for me is that I think it was like in sometime in the 70s or 80s. They were called like, so I don't know if you know who I'm talking about with this Mel person, Mel Robbins, Mel Gibbons, Mel Gibson is an actor. Mel Robbins,
Mel
I think.
Gibson's an actor.
I was just like
You talking
mixing up
about the
names in my head.
motivational speaker?
Yeah.
Anthony Robbins?
No, but it's female. I think it's Mel Robbins.
Oh.
She's like
Okay.
not 5 second rule. Is it 5 second rule?
Gotcha.
Mel
Sounds familiar, but not
Mel
not.
Robbins. Okay, it is Mel Robbins. So she talks about I don't know what it is, I just don't gel with her, but there is a forgotten generation or lost generation, basically like women of a certain age. I think it was like from 41 or something that weren't diagnosed because ADHD wasn't like a recognized thing yet in women, because only boys had been studied. Boys were hyperactive, they were this, they were that, they were that. Girls don't always present the same way. Girls are more likely to be inattentive. It's not a lot of like inability to sit still. It can also be like overachieving, perfectionism, etc., etc. And so she is one of that like lost generation, forgotten generation, whatever they're calling themselves. And I think that given the mom's age, she would probably have a similar like take on it. The difficult thing is like the mom took her to the doctor, so she was trying, right? Like she didn't just shut down what the kid was doing. She was trying, but Adderall 15 years ago didn't exactly have a good reputation.
No, Adderall and what was the other one?
Methamphetamine.
The no, there was Adderall and it start with a P, was it Paxil?
Oh, I don't know. They're all different names here to the US. So like I'm on Vyvanse, which is Alvans or Elevans there, I think.
Yeah, I was on Adderall for a while. And then during COVID, they ran out. You couldn't find that anywhere.
Oh gosh.
The extended release, you could find the regular release, no issue. Extended release, you couldn't find. They was gone everywhere. And then when they get it in, sometimes they get in 30 milligrams, sometimes they get 25, sometimes they get 10, other times they get 30. So my doctor switched me to that methyl whatever. So I'm like, great, I'm taking meth. Yay.
Yeah, that's Ritalin, basically, I think.
They finally got the supply of Adderall back up. So my doctor asked if I wanted to go back, and I'm like, yes, please. Just go back to what I know. So
but I know that Adderall has such a bad name there, because there was that Netflix documentary I talked about, where they said something. Oh, what was the name of the documentary? They basically made it that all ADHD meds are bad. Kids are hooked on them. Nobody needs it. It's big pharma trying to ship it to you.
Oh.
Blah, blah, blah. And
absolutely.
I was watching that like, you have no freaking idea. If you take ADHD meds and you don't feel anything, you don't feel any different, then you probably have ADHD. So if you're taking it and you are feeling different, you shouldn't take it. People completely misuse SSRIs. There are people like me that need SSRIs to literally stay alive. So
Ritalin, that's the other one that I couldn't think of.
Yeah. That's what I was on in the beginning.
Yeah. Both of those
Dominus
had really bad names. And that my
Yeah,
son was
and look,
that
like
he was like 8.
Ritalin for me is fine. Like, I didn't mind it. I just kept needing more, and then I was on like 4 tablets a day. And it's an upper, so it wasn't ideal for me to just
Right.
keep increasing. Dominus, I see your messages. I just don't know if you are okay with me pulling them up. I don't want to like show them on screen if you're not comfortable with it. Yeah, so I started off on Ritalin, and obviously because of the addiction habits, I had to be very careful because Ritalin is, I mean, the fact that they gave it to a kid that was 8, like a little bit tricky, but I also kind of understand because that's when their like self-esteem and whatever's developing, and they need to be progressing in school because whatever they don't do in grade 1 and grade 2, that's going to be a big problem from
I'm
then
sorry
on.
to hear that, Dominus.
Yeah, that is absolutely awful.
I don't know if this is the case in South Africa, but here, one of the biggest issues with any medication is a lot of times they're prescribed by the primary care physician.
Yeah.
And it's done at kind of just a shot in the dark. They don't necessarily know what it's going to do with your other medication, and they don't know the dosage. They may overdose, they may underdose, they may be given the wrong medication. Like if my kids, if they start on something, I try to enforce that please go see an actual psychiatrist on any sort of mental health medication, whether it's antidepressants, anxiety, ADHD. See somebody who actually knows medication regarding your brain and how it's going to work and interact with everything else, and not just kind of hunt and peck for a method that just might work. Or whoever's dropping off the best lunch that week at the office.
So thankfully ours is a lot more regulated than that. There's not like, we don't have to have the whole like big pharma concerns, because there's like, I think it was quite a few years ago, our competitions commission did away with like competitive pricing. Also, we don't refer to our medication as drugs. Drugs are bad. Medication is good. I just want to pause and say, Dominus, I hope you're okay. If this is at all triggering, don't feel like you need to stick around. We're going to go back to lighthearted soon, and I'm very sorry to hear. I'm not pulling anything onto screen because I don't want you to feel uncomfortable or anything. So for me, I think the main thing that I see like on Reddit and in the chat rooms and all of that about mental health issues in the US is that the cost of a psychiatrist is just so unobtainable. Like it's just out of reach.
Yeah. If you don't have good health care, you probably can't afford to go to an actual psychiatrist. And if you don't have good health care, you probably can't afford to go to a therapist either.
What is like a ballpark amount for a psychiatrist, like for an hour?
Well, for my psychiatrist, I really only saw him for like 3 minutes at a time, and that was for meds. He only dispensed my meds at all. We didn't talk about anything that was going on. We're just talking about, he did my med regulations, and that was like a 3 to 4 minute checkup. And my copay was 40 or 50, but I think the full thing was what insurance took was probably would have been about $250 for the visit.
Okay. So the copay wasn't too bad. But if you
No.
don't have medical,
If you don't have a
holy, for a 3-minute,
or basically what turns into a 3-minute visit just to get prescription refilled. And granted, that's only like every 3 months, but still, on top of what you're paying if you don't have medical insurance with prescription for the medication that you're getting to help offset the cost of the prescriptions, yeah, you're not going to be able to afford any of that. And that's why there's, all the homeless people are unmedicated, and people that are lower income are unmedicated or self-medicate by smoking one thing or the other, or injecting one thing or the other, trying to calm down the demons and get on with life. Yeah.
It's always so crazy to me. Like, I'm sitting at the bottom of Africa where we are supposed to supposedly be so underdeveloped and so far behind in terms of like what we were told in movies and TV by the US. And we have free healthcare for like if you earn over a certain amount, you can't make use of it. But even that one psychiatrist visit is less than what we would pay for medical aid. And then also, like, we have banking apps. We don't have to go to the bank. We don't use checks. We order our groceries online. Like,
right. We can do
how
that.
is there not an app?
I do most of my banking through an app. I haven't written a check in I don't know how long, but I prefer to go to the grocery store, and I don't trust these kids there to pick out vegetables and fruit. I'm picky that way. I don't like bruised fruit or, slightly wilted lettuce. I'm a little picky that way, but if something's a little too close to the expiration date, like, no,
I hear you.
God.
But here's the reason why I actually don't even care, and that is because I don't like people. So
right. So I go in there with my headphones in.
I can't believe how long it took me in life to realize that you can go to a mall with like earphones and it's fine. Nobody cares. What is my son's epilepsy meds were $3,000.
Without insurance.
Oh, got you, without insurance. With insurance, we paid $350 a month and had to make visits every 3 months to remed.
Yep, because a lot of these months, like with Adderall, it's a controlled substance, so you can only get 3 months at a time, and they have to write individual month prescriptions.
Yeah.
That the pharmacy then has to place each month on hold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
so you can't do like
for us, it would be like, you said it was $250. Okay, so for us, it would be about half of $250 to see a psychiatrist. This is how it was for me. Half of that to see a psychiatrist. That my medical aid covered. So that was fine. I get 15 therapy sessions a year that are covered. For whatever reason, ADHD is not seen as a chronic illness. I cannot figure it out. And then what my psychiatrist did was my psychologist emailed her my background so that we didn't have to spend too much time on that. But I still had I think I've spoken to her for about probably 4 hours in total, an hour at a time. And then she would touch base with my GP, who would then be able to give me, we have to get the scripts monthly, which whoever created this system that an ADHD person has to remember to email their doctor for a script, go and physically collect the script, because the doctor can't email the script back to you. You have to get in your car and you have to go get that script. And then you have to take that physical script to the pharmacy. Whoever created that does not have ADHD. I can get essentially Ambien via email delivered to my house, but I can't get my meds that are arguably less dangerous than Ambien. Anyway, so the doctor then sends me that email every month for free. I just have to see her like once every 6 months, and that's I would say probably about $45, maybe.
Does your psychiatrist act in the role as a therapist as well, or do you see a separate therapist, or do you, if you saw
No.
one, do you see?
I see a psychologist. I've been going to her for like 7 years or so. She is the freaking best. She's had my back through bad psychiatrists, through whatever. And she's probably about 40 a session. I get 15 of those free a year. And then the rest I pay for. But like, it's well worth it. Like, honestly, if everyone could have a therapist, a good therapist, I'm not talking about the one that is advertising chats and whatever.
Right.
Also, if I ever happen to have a sponsorship from them, someone needs to do a welfare check. I will never take that sponsorship. And if I do, something's wrong. But if everyone could have a good therapist, the world would be a better place.
Yeah, I was seeing one that I could have gotten it through my insurance, but true crime and all that. I told her I don't want anything on the books and all. I just prefer to pay cash and just not have my name recorded at all. Just, me go in and talk to her, and then that be the end of it. And then see her. So I paid her cash each time. We started out it was $75 a session for an hour session. And I saw her for 3 years. During that time, she had to increase her fees. So by the time it was done, it was $125 an hour. And she had to increase across the board for all of her clients.
What?
So, yeah.
That's the price of my psychiatrist, actually.
Yep.
The 75, I mean.
Yep.
125 is, oh my gosh, that's like almost a medical aid payment. Gosh. That is wild. Okay, let's take a break from angry.
Back to lighthearted.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the little video thing. Mics are going to mute when I hit play, if I can find it.
2, 3, 4. Ever wonder if you're a rascal or if ADHD's to blame? You can't censor yourself like we've censored this song. Your focus in life is a crying shame. Am I a rascal or just ADHD? It's hard to know which one it could be. But don't you worry, 'cause we'll figure it out together on this podcast, no doubt.
Okay, that makes everyone feel better, right? That's a good one. Okay, I'm not going to share my screen for this. I'm going to, because I don't want people to be able to go back. I've basically I've switched it up. I'm lying. ChatGPT switched it up for me. Am I the rascal for struggling to maintain a friendship with ADHD during the pandemic? I am not sure if I'm being unreasonable, but I could use some input from others with similar experiences. I work in a high-pressure sales job that requires a lot of energy and focus. I've always been introverted and need plenty of alone time to recharge. My best friend, Rachel, on the other hand, is a natural extrovert and thrives on social interaction. Since the pandemic began, Rachel and I haven't seen each other much. She lives a few hours away, and we've both been busy with work and other responsibilities. While I've been able to manage my time and stay in touch with her, it's harder for Rachel. She misses the social connection we used to have, and she often feels neglected when I don't reach out to her. The truth is, I struggle to remember to stay in touch with people. This is a real thing, by the way. My ADHD diagnosis wasn't that long ago, so I'm not that well versed on how I communicate these sorts of things. It's not an excuse, just a reality. I try to explain this to Rachel, but I'm not sure she fully understands. I don't want to hurt her feelings or be a bad friend, but I can only do so much. Rachel's job is also stressful, and the pandemic has made things even harder for her. I wish I could be there for her more, but it's hard to balance my work and personal life. I don't want to lose her friendship, but I also need to take care of myself. I just don't know if I'm doing the right thing or if there's more I should be doing. I need my elevator music for a second. Where are you? Come back, elevator music. Wait, it should do a little thumbs up thing now. Okay, so what's your verdict, Steve? Did you forget to listen?
No, I listened. I'm surprised how many. I know several extroverts that became introverts during the pandemic, and it's funny. My daughter was a classic extrovert. Now they barely leave their house. She doesn't people. She's like you. She doesn't go to the grocery store. She has them delivered. She doesn't. They
Yep.
All family events. They stay for a short period of time. They make their appearance, stay for a little while, and then they're gone. It's just away from people so they can recharge, get ready for their work week. I, however, loved the pandemic.
I loved it as well. I mean, not like, listen.
Not
I'm
for
not
that.
going
If
to
it
go
wasn't
into
for the
sad
death and
stuff. Yeah. I'm not going to go into the sad stuff because I was actively doing news reporting and anchoring and whatever during that time. And there's stuff that I can never unsee. And it was absolutely terrible. And it was a constant state of anxiety. However, I did appreciate, I don't know if you guys had a, what is it called? Curfew.
I don't remember if there was around here or not.
I loved the curfew. I am an in bed by 9 kind of person, but I'm also a person who has a lot of trouble saying, listen, I got to head out right now because I just don't want to people anymore. So it was so nice to be able to be like, oh, sorry, just got to head because silly rules. Oh, sorry, I can't make it to the social event because, I might have been around someone who was positive. And I mean, I did 11 tests because I was around people 11 times that were positive. So it's not like I was always exaggerating.
Did you have to do the ones that went all the way up and tickled your brain?
I did that for the first one, and I think it was a false negative.
That was horrible.
That was horrible. That was horrible. But because there was a shortage, my age and my health meant that I wasn't like a priority. So I only did them if I had a definite positive contact. And then they were doing a lot more throat ones at one stage. I can't remember which order it was, but they were difficult to get hold of and they all came back negative. At one stage, my GP was like, I don't know, maybe they're going to write about you one day because somehow you managed to dodge it so many times. Like, I don't know how. And then I got it last year, November, and I felt like I was dying and it was freaking awful. But I got it in Paris. So I got to see Paris. I don't really care. I was fine. I survived. Okay,
Did
but
you have
back
to
to
quarantine in
the
the hotel room?
no, I literally realized I had it on the plane on the way back.
Oh.
Like,
and then
yeah.
the whole plane got positive on the way 3 days later.
Yeah, most likely. I did my due diligence and I like let everyone know that I could, but my doctor was like, we're not really tracking anymore, so it's okay. Can't really give comments. Don't worry, got you. And we're gonna keep it light now. We're doing light, no more shade. But yeah, my doctor said we're not tracking anymore. And that was kind of like, cool. Well, I've done what I can do. But back to the task at hand. Am I a terrible friend? I kind of have to vote yes, you are. I kind of do. Because, so here's the one thing is like an object permanence thing. if we don't see the thing, we forget it exists. However, in order to be a somewhat decent human in society, you can't just say, like, I forgot you existed, unless your friend also has ADHD, and then you mutually forget each other exists. And it's like a brand new friendship every 6 months, right? Like everything goes back to how it was and it's perfect. If your friend is not, also, if you've done any part of the 12 steps, you'll know about like rainy day friends. Like, there will be people who will always be happy to come to you when they need help, and who will always be willing to go out with you and spend time with you if they're gonna drink or whatever. But then when you need them, they're not there. In this situation, her friend has been an amazing friend to her and has been very understanding that she kind of forgets she exists. And now that this friend needs her, she's like, I'm sorry, my ADHD, sorry.
Yeah, that doesn't sound very good.
And the thing is, like, there are things, and I definitely fell into this pattern when I first got diagnosed, was like, there's so much you can get away with if you just say, oh, my ADHD. Like, it becomes a bit easy. Like, a lot of my quirks, my personality quirks, positive and negative, can be attributed to ADHD, but sometimes I am just a little bit of a not great person. I'll admit it. And I can't just say, oh, it's my ADHD. Oh, sorry, my ADHD. Haha. Like, you're an adult. You gotta be in therapy. Like, it's one or the other, right? Like, my therapist will call me out for things. So friendship takes work, but the rewards are well worth it. And you know what's the weird thing? I'm definitely one of those people who, like, if I'm friends with you, I'm all in. I'm 100,000,000,000% in. I will be there for you no matter what. But if you bail on me 2 or 3 times when I need the same, I'm out. I'm not even gonna, like, I think it was, like, especially during that time of the world, there would be friends who I'd message and I'd be like, "Hey, I'm so sorry I haven't checked in." And then I realized, like, hold on, you didn't check in either. Why am I always the one apologizing? Like, I have object permanence.
Right. Right. Oh my God, I haven't heard from you in months. What's going on?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize your phone only took calls in.
Exactly. I'm sorry, I didn't realize this was a one-way street. But as you were, like, I just got so sick of apologizing. And the funny thing is, like, just in 2019, I was 29 and I had mental crisis. I'm not in the place I wanted to be in my career. I'm not married. I don't have children. We don't own a house. So blah, 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 blah. One of the things is, like, I don't even have hobbies. Now I have like 25,000 hobbies. Turned 30 and I didn't care. I did not. It was almost like overnight. I was like, you know what? If you don't message me for 3 months, I'm not going to message you and be like, I'm so sorry I haven't checked in. If you haven't thought of me for 3 months and I haven't thought of you, I'm sorry. I guess it wasn't that good.
Right. Maybe you'll get you'll get the obligatory text on your birthday, maybe.
But even that, like, when I deleted social media, I forgot about people's birthdays. And you know what? When people get a thing on their Facebook page on their birthday, they don't really notice who did or didn't. They're not even going to know. 2020 forced people to play their true hands when it came to friends. Yep. Because you had to make so much effort. And it was hard. And we didn't have the bubble system. But I guess if I did, like, my best friend in the whole world lives in England. I've seen her once. She literally just met Vaughn. We're getting married this year. She just met Vaughn 2 years ago. And our friendship is absolutely fine, stands the test of time. If we don't message each other for months, one of us will check in. We'll send each other a random, like, TikTok or Instagram. I don't know, one of those things, and it'll be fine. But of the people who were here, a lot of them I don't even talk to anymore because, like, pandemic. I have
I
another
went through
friend-related
Facebook.
one.
Go ahead.
No, you can say what you wanted to say.
Oh, I was just gonna say I went through Facebook, I think, during the pandemic, and got rid of like all the people that were only just Facebook friends or acquaintances, and basically whittled it down to just, I think I've got like 35, and now it's just like 90% family and a few,
Wow.
maybe a few friends. And that's mainly how I keep up with some. Facebook and Instagram is how I get like some pictures of my like grandkids, that because like coworkers, like my daughter-in-law works in a daycare, so she'll get some pictures of my grandkids tagged for her. And I already told them when they were little, I don't care who else is in the picture. If I see a picture of one of my grandkids, I'm taking it. So it's just getting saved on my computer if it's got one of my grandkids in it. So yeah, so that's how I get all along with those. So that's the main reason why I keep Facebook and Instagram.
So mine is the opposite. When I was doing radio, I was trying to like grow my brand and whatnot. Another thing I just stopped caring about at 30. I have 1,907 friends on Facebook, and I probably know about 10 of them. And so my Facebook is just like cluttered. Like the only reason I use it is Marketplace and to phone my grandpa. those are the two things. Dominus says that's okay. We all lose friends along the path. My grandpa can't even, like, my gran used to be the tech whiz. She taught me how to FaceTime, which is really funny. But when she passed away, he didn't know how to do any of it, so he can't message back. So I literally have to phone. And he can sometimes phone back on Facebook, but it depends if it's like logged in or not. And then also often I'll just rather go to like phoning his landline because I don't have Facebook all the time. So like he's got more social media than I do. It's brilliant. As you get older, your friend circle closes slowly, and I'm okay with that. I am all about quality over quantity. Like I would rather have 2 or 3 really good friends that get me than like 50 friends. Let's face it, I'm not keeping up with 50 people. It's not happening. I struggle with like just 2 families. There's a lot of families. Like Vaughn and I each have a pretty small family. And we struggle to keep up with 2 families. Like it's 2 lots of people. The trash always takes itself out.
Socializing with that many friends just sounds exhausting.
It does. This thing that Dominus said, the trash always takes itself out, is true. That is the most true thing ever about sobriety. Oh my gosh. When you are no longer going to get drunk with people, you will see how quickly people stop wanting to hang out. And people just cannot, like, I don't know what it's like there, but we live in the Winelands. There's a big drinking culture here. People cannot fathom a world where you don't drink. They cannot wrap their heads around it. They think that you must have such a boring life and that you just don't know what to do. And like, what do you even spend your time on?
What is
there to do if you don't
drink?
Exactly. And like, how can things be enjoyable if you're not drinking during them? And I'm like, well, surprisingly, like even when I was a little binge drunk on the weekends, there are things like Ultra Music Festival that I never drank at because I wanted to remember and enjoy it. I can still do that. Also, Red Bull can really make you feel like you're having a good party without the consequences. If I really wanted to go to a club, which I don't think is a normal thing for me ever again anyway.
Ask him, have you ever had a fit of social anxiety? I mean, that makes you feel like you're pretty high.
Yeah. Panic attacks cut off the oxygen to your brain pretty well. You should try it sometime. Also, heads up, you're going to feel like you're having a heart attack. You're going to get rushed to the hospital. The hospital's going to tell you you're overreacting. They may or may not section you. Hard to tell. Depends on the
Your
day.
pupils are going to dilate. You're going to have a cold sweat. It's going to have a lot of the same symptoms.
Exactly. So when I used to like spend a lot of weekends in clubs, I would be the DJ because I DJ'd. So I would be in my own little box and there'd be no people near me and I could control who came in and out of the box. And then at one stage, like if I went to a club without being the DJ, the social anxiety of that many people, and my brain is such a messed up place that like I automatically assume I'm going to be in like a crowd crush, a stampede. Like something's going to happen and I'm going to be so far from the exit. Never mind that when I was in a DJ box, I was literally locked in a box. If anything ever happened, I was going to be the only person that did not get out. But my brain's like, crowds cannot. Social anxiety. Why are people looking at me? Why am I holding the thing like this instead of this? Why can I not dance anymore? Like, I'm pretty sure I used to dance. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, no.
That's funny. Yeah.
Let's pray the thing again and then do the last one. Where is this thing?
Ever wonder if you're a rascal or if ADHD's to blame? You can't censor yourself like we've censored this song. Your focus in life is a crying shame. Am I a rascal or just ADHD? It's hard to know which one it could be. But don't you worry, 'cause we'll figure it out together on this podcast, no doubt.
Oh my gosh, I love it so much. And this guy, the guy that sang it is a guy on Upwork, and he was so patient and he laughed so hard at the lyrics because the lyrics were obviously written by ChatGPT. It was not me. Like, I'm not going to take credit. AI did a great job. But I had to keep doing different iterations of it because I was just like, no, it's not making sense. No, this isn't going to offend people. And this is what we settled on. And I love it. Problem is, I'm the a-hole in the room and I know it. You can just say it's your ADHD. It's fine. I have ADHD. Okay, here's the next one. It's also a friend one. There seems to be a theme. I know this isn't the Am I the Rascal subreddit. Okay, so this is one that I would have changed because it's not from that Reddit, so it might be in a closed sub. So there might be like name changes and whatever. I need some ADHD peers to tell me if I'm being a rascal. So here goes nothing, I guess. Also, sorry for the ensuing wall of text. Man, I love ADHD subs. They just understand. Like, no one's going to read this whole thing. I'm a very typical introvert. I'm also a teacher, which under normal circumstances mean that I need a ton of me time alone to recharge. Teaching in 2020 means that I'm constantly running on empty and I don't have the emotional capacity for pretty much anyone. Cue my best friend. We'll call her Leslie. Leslie is a stereotypical extrovert, sorry. She needs to be around people pretty much all the time. This is like the same thing as the last time. And have lots of people in her life. Since the pandemic really started showing its true awfulness, we haven't seen each other. We live in different states about 2 hours away, so it's far enough that travel would be pretty stupid. Plus, I'm a teacher who's back in the classroom with in-person students. My exposure is really high, so this means we haven't seen each other for any significant amount of time for at least 9 months. I think this has impacted her way more than it's impacted me because of the differences in our personalities. Recently, because of my crazy workload, I haven't been reaching out to her to initiate communication because I struggle remembering what day it is and where I'm supposed to be at any given moment, let alone indulging in the luxury of social time. This makes her upset, and she then says she leaves me alone because she knows I'm busy. Oh, that sounds more passive-aggressive than I expected. For extended periods, even though I tell her she doesn't need to do that. She gets hurt when I don't reach out, but I'm extremely bad at that, normally because ADHD. I know she appreciates when I reach out to her first, but I've also tried to communicate to her that ADHD makes it super hard to remember those things. I was only recently diagnosed, so I don't think she fully understands what ADHD is, and I'm not choosing to be this way. It doesn't help that her job is also really stressful, and she doesn't get as much people time as she needs thanks to the pandemic. I just don't know if I'm using ADHD as an excuse and being a horrible friend, or if this is legit and I need to find a better way to communicate to her that I don't have the capacity to meet her expectation right now of all times, because this is something I'm already struggling with. Um, I hear a lot of me, I. She thinks that she should get a pass for being busy and struggling with work. Also, you can tell how long this podcast came into my head because, like, it's been 4 years and we're reading things that are like current to 2020. Whoops. Oh, I didn't do the hold music. You all right there, Paul? Steve, are you
What's that?
alive?
Yeah, I'm fine. What happened?
Okay, it sounded like you fell, so I was like,
Oh
that's
no,
concerning.
I put my iPad down for a second because I wanted to grab my computer for something.
Yeah, I just heard Kadoof, and then I was like, are you all right there? And then there was silence, and I was like, this is not the way I want
Oh.
the stream to go. Like, what, have you been robbed? What is happening? Imagine someone just like steals your iPad and they're just logged into
Yeah.
StreamYard and we land up with this random person. Why is she teaching if it's so hard to begin with, but you lost me halfway through because, yeah, sounds like a you problem. This is the thing. I feel bad that she's struggling, and I feel bad that her ADHD diagnosis is new and she's still trying to figure things out because I understand what that feels like. It is difficult and it's confusing and it feels like your whole life is a lie and that there were like I saw this example where it's like being medicated doesn't do the puzzle for you, but it shows you where the corners are. Like, it kind of feels like when I first got diagnosed, it was going to be this magic pill that was going to fix all of my problems and everything was going to make sense. And I was suddenly going to be good at all the things that everyone told me I had so much potential for. And then I wasn't. And then I also just, like, I don't think I'm that good at socializing when I'm medicated. So, like, I need to be unfiltered in order for like conversation to flow, which is also why it's good to do streams at night because all the meds are gone, I'm unfiltered, etc. But once I was like medicated, I was like, I don't know how I'm supposed to do this anymore. I don't know how to talk to people. Like my face feels like it's pulling weird. Like I don't know what's happening. But also like her friend is going through it and she's just like, yeah, but I'm busy and I have ADHD. So like, I'm sorry. You're just like not important right now. And I need you to just understand.
Excuses.
And this is the thing, right? This is why this podcast popped into my head because I was like, at what point is it going to be a fact that like I'm using ADHD to get where I need to as an excuse? And at what point is it just like, no, actually ADHD, like it is a thing and it's fine. Yep, right meds smooth things out, but you still need to be a good friend and put in the work. And that sounds like a rainy day friend if I've ever heard one. Everything's so hard for me. I just need you to understand. I'm sorry that things are hard for you, but I need you to understand that things are hard for me. That actually made sense. I did not filter that thought at all, and it made complete sense, which is magical. Absolutely magical.
It's an Adderall miracle.
Except that I'm like completely unmedicated by this point. I took my tablet at 9. Yeah, I won't stream like the lunchtime streams. If I do them, you'll see that like I'm not as quick processing. Like everything's slowed down. I'm not very creative either, which is good because creativity for me is just where procrastination blooms. If I get a burst of creativity, I'm going to be painting. I'm going to be playing piano. I'm going to be doing whatever hobby, DIY, I don't know, whatever the hobby of the week is, I'm going to dive into that because I'm in creative flow, and work and creative flow do not mix. I need to not be creative. Okay, the last thing before I say goodbye, this is a post from a closed community, but if I mean, neither of you right now qualify, but if you're on catch up and you're an ADHD female, highly recommend the ADHD woman subreddit. Absolutely love it. Mods are great. People are blunt. They will tell you you are just being a rascal if you are, and they'll say it in a nice way. They'll give it a bit of like a criticism sandwich sometimes, but it works. So it says, whenever we gather groups of neurodivergent people together, the idea that we can't socialize well begins to seem rather silly. We certainly don't socialize like neurotypicals do, but we do have our own set of social rules as well as consequences for breaking them. We don't do small talk. We enjoy parallel play and shared activities that don't require continual conversation. When we talk, it gets deep quickly. This happened exactly on this podcast. We discuss what's real, our struggles, fears, desires, obsessions. We appreciate a good info dump, and there's no such thing as oversharing. We swap same stories, sharing a time when we felt similarly in our own life, not as a competition, but how we reflect how well we are listening to each other. And let me tell you, Vaughn and I have thought about that a few times. Like, don't always relate your thing back to me. I mean, but don't always relate my thing back to you. But it's like, I do it as well. I just did it right then. It's such a frustrating thing sometimes, but it's also like the beauty of being neurodivergent is like everything relates to something. And if people can follow that same train, you don't have to explain the train anymore. And they can see how you got from how a train was built to the fact that Thomas is a weird name. Like, they'll get that
Right.
far.
How a train was built to why squirrels put things in trees.
Yeah, because the trees go over the train tracks and there's sometimes squirrels are killed
Right.
by. Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right.
Hang on before you go. I'm trying to get into something real quick. Hang on just a second
Okay.
before you go. If I can find my login for Suno.
Oh, you did the song?
Well, if it'll let me in, did I do it through Google? Surely I did it through Google.
Speaking of hyperfixations that lasted about 2 days,
Yeah, right.
I still have the whole like music video thing open on my iMovie. I've just like gone out of the project a few times I haven't deleted it because I haven't like committed to killing it yet, but I've gone out of it to record other things. Okay, I'm gonna take the opportunity to play this again because it's such a good song.
I have to find the right one. Hang on. It'll take just 1 second.
No stress.
Rainy days don't seem so wet.
Oh, I'm not in the mood for that. I want something happier. What's happier? Are you happy? Let's see.
Say that again.
Oh no, the song. I was
Oh.
asking the song if it's a happy song because that other one just felt so like. bleh.
Ask the song. If
I
it's a
love
happy
it.
song.
Yeah. You mean you don't talk to inanimate objects? I speak to things all the time. Like, especially the cats, though. The cats, I think it's fine because people talk to their pets. But I will have full conversations and the cat will literally not know what I'm talking about. Speaking of... I don't know if I can move over enough. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to wake you up. I actually just wanted to show how cute the little one was sleeping because her little teeth were out while she was sleeping and it was adorable. And then I woke her up and here we are. Why do I have two of the same song? I need something more like, this is my intro song for the other.
I'm
the other stuff.
switching computers really quick for StreamYard. I'll be right back.
All good. I'll probably have to let Steve back in, so I need to make sure that I just keep an eye on that because I got to approve. I need more of like a upbeat Sunday vibe in terms of music instead of like a Debbie Downer. Like, it's a beautiful song. It's just the kind of song that you like stare at a fire flickering and cry. That's not really the mood. I need more of like a what is that song? Device is not connected. Steve, it says your device is not connected, so you might not have a mic.
Can you not hear me?
Oh yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Question is, can you share? Let's see.
Think, is this the one? I think this is the one. Maybe it's this one. There we go. So let's go back to here. And where did you go? You're here. And if I go to you and put you there, and paste and put you there. There you go. I just put it in chat. In that StreamYard chat.
Okay, let's see.
I did it in different names, so it just kind of around like you or your area. So this one is MC Good Hope. For yeah.
So maybe now's a good time to mention that that is the name of the radio station I used to work for.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did not know
Oh no,
that.
it's fine. It's fine. Not the MC part. Okay, let me share.
Lil Mac in the house. Let me lay down the law. I'm queen of the
Nice.
court. You don't see it all. I'm spitting facts on these tracks because let's face it, your back knowledge lacks all day, just sitting there for hours on end, waiting for strangers to pop in. Think you're a big deal? Nah, you're just a gherkin. Tell me, please, sir, are you really working? You claim to be the goat of true crime, but let's rewind. Imitate the spell. Well, I guess you're one of a kind, but I'm the disruptor, challenging your throne. It's time to face it. Big deal, you're not alone. I'll take your eyes. I'll take your wife. Before I'm even monetized. Wanna joke's on you because your chat is my chat too. Every clip may go viral, but that's not the whole tale. There's more to this game than just a retweet trail. I'm breaking boundaries, breaking molds, breaking free. I'm
The end needs to end more abruptly. So
on the beat. I don't need no rain, no sub of a breeze. I'm Lil Mac, that's correct. You heard it right. I'll be killing it, sir. I'm winning this fight. Oh, it must be cute. Guess what's my challenge, sir? You're on mute.
the sir, you're on mute
Love
needs
it.
to end more abruptly.
Oh no, I actually like that end, like
Do ya?
ba, ba, ba. I might take like the second of that out. So we go ba 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 end. Did I get kicked from chat? No, Dominus, I can see you. I know that I just refreshed I added a disclaimer in the description on YouTube, which sometimes is a bit of like a weird thing. If I have YouTube streaming open at the same time as StreamYard, they're not friends. Nice job, Steve. I love the tags that you figured out. Aggressive gangster rap. Like that, I think that was the word that we were missing in the last one. Aggressive gangster rap. Instead of just like lighthearted, like airy fairy. Joke's on you, cause I'm a man. Da, 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 da. Also, Steve, I don't know if you know you're muted. And I don't know if I muted you.
No, I did because I was looking for a different one.
Okay.
There's
Because
there's a 80s hair metal one too.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Tricky little Vicky. I need to share again. So I tried to make all these really easy StreamYard shortcuts, and StreamYard will not let you have a shortcut with one key. So like mute and unmute, I did spacebar, which would be a normal thing. Nope, it's got to be more than one button at a time.
Of course.
Metal, this is wild.
Never in the house, let me lay down the law. I'm queen of the court, you know I've seen it all.
Right.
Cause let's face it, your rap knowledge lacks. All day just sitting there for hours on end, waiting for strangers to pop in. Think you're a big deal, now you're just a good kid. Tell me, Lisa, are you really working? You claim to be the girl of true crime, but let's rewind. Imitators fail, well, I guess you're one of a kind. But I'm the disruptor, challenging your throne. It's time to face it, big deal. You're not alone. I'll take your marks, I'll take your words. Before I'm even monetized, well, the joke's on you, because your chat is my chat too. Every clip may go viral, but that's not the whole tale. There's more to this game than just the retweet.
I found a list of keywords. I found a list of keywords to use, and I was like, okay, let's try this. Let's try this. And then throwing in, sometimes you'll see like the parentheses in like rap verse or whatever, where it's, yeah, let's try it to hear how
Oh
this
my
does.
gosh.
And then with only the free version, you can only do 5 songs a day or
Yeah.
something like that. So I'm like, oh, now I got to try more tomorrow.
So I that's what I went and used, like a what do you call it? Like a burner kind of Gmail.
I thought about that too.
And now I've forgotten those logins as well. And now I don't know what I did with those links. And I downloaded all the songs like without changing the name. So it's like Rap Battle V1, Rap Battle Real, Rap Battle Lil, like they all have similar names.
So I was trying to kind of change the name so I knew which kind of genre it went with or which version it went with.
Dominus, I have just opened Instagram and I don't see any requests or anything. I have one request that says, "This is Sarah, your profile caught our eye. Do you want to do active wear, blah blah." Other than that, I don't see one. I will share my Instagram in a minute because I've only just gotten it back. Where am I? Where's StreamYard? So Steve, be honest. How far did you hyper focus? Oops. What do you mean? Dominus, I'm confused. I offered, but I'll look for you guys. Be honest, how many hours did you spend hyper focusing on this that were not supposed to be hyper focused on this?
On the song?
Yeah.
That actually wasn't. Once I found those, it was probably a couple hours.
Yeah. Because so we were working on the song on a night stream. And the next day, I feel like it was a Thursday or something, I was trying to work and my brain was just like, but what if you did this thing? So then I switched and I spent some time on it. And then I was doing like the music video and I was getting the effects. And I was like, yes, this is going so well. And then I landed up having to work those extra few hours later in the day with a tired brain because I'd hyper focused on this damn song. And then I think maybe it was like that resentment that made me bored of it. Oh. I just want to hold on a sec to see if a message comes through from Dominus because I'm confused, but I don't know if it's just like because the things are so short, the what do you call them? Chat on YouTube, like the characters, there's so few characters. So I just drank 300 mils of Coke in 2 hours 14. I just know the comment section is going to be like, you should be drinking water. What about your teeth? What about your health? Do you know it has carcinogens in it?
If you wouldn't
Do you know
have
what else
said
has
you drank,
carcinogens in?
if you wouldn't have said you
Schmores.
drank 2, we only saw you with 1 can.
Actually, I should have just. Oh, but I opened one like on stream.
Oh,
But s'mores
never
also
mind.
have carcinogens because you're putting it on the fire. So take that, Karen.
Yeah. Karen.
I've forgotten how to work Instagram. Okay, Dominus, I've got your follow. Also, just a early warning that I probably won't have Instagram for long because they did a bait and switch. They told me I logged in and it said that I could be monetized, that I was eligible for monetization. So I was like, oh, sweet, I'll just post a few of my travel pictures, videos, whatever's already done, post it on there and I get money. Guess what? It's not that. It's that I can be sponsored. You know who's not chasing sponsorships? This girl.
Unless it's by the makers of Adderall.
I wonder if we're even allowed to like get meds for free here because Competition Commission would probably be like, no.
Right.
Do you know who I would take sponsorships from? I would take a sponsorship from Ground News because I think they're absolutely amazing. I would take from Road. And I would take like equipment, sure. Okay, invited to account, been warned. Okay. None of us know Steve's surname because he admitted that he doesn't want to be in the system because he does true crimes.
Yes.
So,
it's not on my surname's not on Instagram anyways.
yeah, Instagram for me is like, I feel like I can never curate Instagram to be something that is a dopamine thing. It like whatever I do,
Or maybe it is.
but it like I can change the hashtags that I'm following. I can. There's so much like I'll unfollow people that did I just send the wrong person an invite to a WhatsApp group? Oh, I hope not. Anyway, I can change the hashtags. I can unfollow accounts that make me feel like ugh. And still, I never close Instagram feeling good about life. Ever. Like it just TikTok is amazing for me, makes me laugh. I have a lot of fun on it. But Instagram, nope. Like the ads are always just like, you're not good enough. Your life sucks. It was my only social outlet during my crisis, so I'm kind of attached that way. Oh, I got you. I got you on that. That for me was largely YouTube and TikTok. TikTok was like the absolute golden thing for me when I discovered my ADHD diagnosis because the main reason I started this YouTube channel was because there are literally no normal human beings just being normal human beings with ADHD on YouTube. If you look on YouTube for ADHD things, it's always someone lecturing you, someone telling you coping mechanisms, someone telling you what you're doing wrong, someone telling you like the science. I don't want to know that. I just want to know that Jane Doe also struggles to wake up in the morning and watch her live her life and for it to be relatable. Like nothing is relatable in like I don't need to know the science. I don't need to know why the chemicals are breaking my brain. I don't need to know why Adderall is a crisis and everyone's addicted. I don't care. I just want normal people living their lives. That's all. And that's kind of Instagram used to be like that a bit for me in the beginning. But then when I got into the media space, then it became about like how many followers you have and like, ugh. Like if I only got 50 likes on a picture, it would be like, do I not look good in this picture? Or, okay, I got you, Dominus. You are devil's lettuce. Basically, is the vibe. Which like I just want to put a disclaimer out there because I realized when we were watching court stuff that I sounded like I am extremely against that. I don't care what people do. I could not care less. I would rather people do that than drink a drop of alcohol ever again in their lives. I think like if I were to be president of the world, alcohol would be illegal and it would not be something that's socially acceptable and it would not be something that is encouraged. I would way rather people like go for the greener side of life. Like you generally don't have people on the green side of life committing crimes and so I just wanted to put a disclaimer out there that I'm not against it. I'm only against it if you literally told the court you would not engage in it unless it was prescribed, but you don't want to get a prescription. Like alcohol is poison, abso-freaking-lutely. And it's way too like socially acceptable. Like people don't ask why you don't eat mayonnaise like it's a shocking thing. Like I don't drink. If you ask me why, I'm probably gonna tell you I'm gonna say, oh, it just doesn't vibe with me, or I'm gonna be like, it depends on the person's attitude, but otherwise I'll be like, I'm an addict, so I can't. And then I leave them to guess if I'm like Coke or like, because I like to let their mind wander about all the things that I may have done, and then they won't ask the next person, hopefully. Or they'll just go and tell everyone that I'm a crackhead. Okay. It is 8:10. So I'm going to say sayonara. Steve, thanks for jumping on.
You're welcome.
I need to find more of these that are like not so friendship oriented. Like it feels like high school drama. So if anyone sees really good ones that aren't like blatantly like the ones that I kind of have in mind is more of a questionable, like I have ADHD and I'm doing this thing, but is it because I have ADHD or is it because I'm a rascal? I also wish I could just say the real word.
You can't?
No, YouTube.
Oh, YouTube.
Yeah. And until I'm monetized, I'll be abiding by those rules. I'll be like the most straight and narrow person on it. She says after posting court cases with swears.
Right.
Steve, Dominus says gonna throw some burgers on the grill.
Ooh. That sounds like a good idea.
I don't even know if you two are like close in proximity. So am I still on a VPN for the United States? Yes, I am. I am on a VPN for Houston. So I'm going to do this quickly and see. Really? I was trying to see if you can get wors, which is like, it's called boerewors, which is like Afrikaans sausage. But that's what we would throw on the grill, but actually it would be a braai. And I don't know how to explain it except that it's like really, really, really freaking good meat.
Anywhere near a
And
bratwurst?
no,
Then
no, not
probably,
as like
I don't know. We
hard
might be
and
able to.
Russianish.
It's what?
It's more like it's not as hard and it's not like as much like a Russian. It's got more the like consistency of a pork sausage, but it's beef and pork. It's almost like mince, like bolognese, almost kind of inside the sausage casing, which is, I'm not going to say what it is, but a lot of people know what sausage casing is.
Of course, yeah. You
And
just don't think
ours
about it when you
isn't.
eat it.
Yeah, ours isn't a gas. We don't use like gas things. It's like a fireplace thing that you grill on. If it's good enough to the grill, I'm down. Dominus, I think you might have potentially some roots here, because there's like, if you're having a braai and someone's braaiing chicken, they call it like the vegetable of the braai. Like it must be meat and it must be grilled and it must be like fresh off the fire. That's how it must go. Vegetarians don't have a great time with it in general. Oh, food is ready. Look at Vaughn
Perfect
again.
timing.
Second night in a row. What a champ. I asked him if he wanted to be on this. He's like, no, not really. So I was like, okay.
Well, better
not his
go
vibe.
before he sends you pictures of how to serve up your dish.
Yeah, he's too good for another night of like sitting there thinking that I'm not interested. All right, guys, chat soon. If you're on Rewatch Crew, send me Reddit things. Let's get some more balloons for now. Also, apparently, according to YouTube, 40% of people watching the live streams are not subscribed. So why aren't the balloons coming? I'm never that person, but I'm going to be that person and say, please like, comment, subscribe, because I really want money. Thank you.
Bye, Dominus. Bye, Vicky.
Bye.